Okay, now let's talk about forgetting. One of the most obvious facts about memory is that we forget things over time. Memory fades, memory goes away. And there's different reasons why this could happen. One is sort of simple, which is memories are physical things. So they decay. They're physical structures in the brain, physical patterns of atoms and molecules and the like. And they fade. They just fade over time. There was a study where a psychologist taught fish something. You could really teach fish things. And then gently heated up the temperature of the tank. And the higher they heated it, still keeping the fish safe, the more forgetting there was because the heat caused the memories, the molecular structures to dissolve a little bit faster. Another reason why you forget things over time is interference. So new things come in. I teach you the phone number, 688-9056, but then you hear other numbers, 432-8166, 280-0027. And these other numbers mess up your memory of the first number. Now, this only works with similar material. So if I teach you a phone number, 688-9056, and then teach you some real cool dance moves, that won't have an influence. But similar sorts of things will overlay upon previous memories. Finally, there's changes of retrieval cues. Typically, as time goes by, your cues change. You move houses, you move workplaces, the objects around you are different, and all of that makes memories that are connected to the previous cues more likely to fade. I don't think this is a major cause, but it has some effect. And all of these explain to some extent childhood amnesia, which is when we don't typically remember what happened before roughly the age of 2 or 3. And part of it is just there's been a lot of time, part of it is interference, and part of it is change of retrieval cues. There's also other factors that are worth discussing. It might be, for instance, that learning a language transforms how your memory works. And so it's difficult to remember a time before you had language. It's also possible that certain structures of the brain mature, and that leads to change in memory. And childhood amnesia is maybe the most dramatic case of everyday forgetting. Then there's cases of forgetting through brain damage. A lot of this illustrated in a series of excellent movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Dead Again, The Bourne Identity, and Spellbound. Movies are fascinated with people who get plopped on the head and get amnesia. And there's two very different sorts of amnesia that are interestingly distinct. One is retrograde amnesia. This is the standard movie amnesia, where you lose your memory for some period of time prior to your accident or stroke or trauma or whatever. This is Jason Bourne amnesia. This is who am I, where am I don't remember my name amnesia. And then there's anterior grade amnesia. And anterior grade amnesia is when you lose the capacity to form new memories. So I want to now show you a movie clip of a particular case of amnesia, a very dramatic case of amnesia. This is Clive Wearing. He's a world-renowned choir director and musical arranger, and he suffered brain damage following viral encephalitis, which destroyed large areas of his brain, both temporal lobes, his entire hippocampus, and most of his left frontal lobes. And so he's lost a lot of his memory of his past, but he also lost the ability to form new memories. And so he's constantly being reborn, as this clip dramatically portrays.
Oh, darling, I know you were here. What have you got there?
I brought you some cake.
Oh, have a feel, kisses. Aren't these bits of men?
I think I'd go along with that.
Oh, good.
Would you like a Danish pastry?
It's a lovely idea.
Would you like one?
I would actually.
Oh, good. We've got enough too. That's marvellous.
Yes, one each.
Good.
You all right?
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, they're rather large, aren't they?
And ladies second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take one.
Oh, this is enormous. Very difficult to hold.
Yeah.
Well, have a serviette.
Oh, that's it. That
Make it easier.
sounds like a male name. Serviette who?
Serviette.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sir.
Serviette. Yes.
One of the things that characterises Clive's day is that he continually makes entries in his diary. Now, I say makes entries in his diary rather than keeps a diary, because in fact he's not keeping the diary. It is an inner compulsion to record the momentous event of waking up, because Clive's perception of his own condition is that because he has no memory whatsoever up to the current 10, 20 seconds, or maybe half a minute, depending on whether they've been distracted of any proactive interference. On the whole, his conscious working span memory is that current minute. So everything else behind the minute is blank. So everything until now is unknown and is void. So he uses the analogy of feeling as if he has just woken up. He says it's like just waking up for the first time. It's like just becoming conscious. It's as if I have been unconscious for however many years. And because for him it is momentous, he has to write it down. And he has to write it down on any available surface. If the diary is in front of him, he will write it down there. He will record the time, 10:50 a.m., awake first time, 10, and then he looks at the previous entry, which was 10:48 a.m. awake first time, and he says, no, I wasn't awake then. That wasn't me. That wasn't proper awakeness. This is the first real awakeness. So he goes through the diary, scoring out previous entries and underlining the current new entry, because this now is the real awakeness. All the previous awakenesses are unknown to me.
I've nothing to say about it. It's just like death. No thoughts of any kind, no dreams, no difference between day and night, no sight, no sound, no taste, no touch, no smell, exactly like death. No difference between day and night. No thoughts, nothing. No dreams, nothing at all. Any question you have, its answer, I don't know. There's nothing to say. No dreams, no sight, no sound, no taste, no touch, no smell, nothing at all, no thoughts, nothing.
Since how long ago?
2 years, that's all I know. Whole time I've been ill, nothing at all, no thoughts, nothing.
What's it like now?
I can see. First time. First time I had any evidence I was alive.
And do you feel sort of normal now?
Yes. Since I sat down here, I don't remember sitting down here.
You don't remember sitting down?
No, I never see any human being now. I can see you fully over now.
There's been a fascinating discovery concerning anterior grade amnesia, which is a discovery which tells us about different types of memory. And what's interesting is that it used to be thought that people with amnesia simply can't form new memories. But actually, what they can form is new explicit memories. They can form new implicit memories, and in particular, new skills. So what you see here is a standard difficult task where you have to draw, say, a certain figure while looking in the mirror. And this is tough. This is tough. But normal people get better with practice. And what's really cool is that individuals with amnesia get better with practice, suggesting that they can form new memories. Learning is nothing more than the formation of a new memory, but they don't form explicit new memories. They learn new things, but they don't know that they learn new things. A person like H.M., who's a famous patient, might do this task over and over again and get really good at it. And each time you bring him to task, he'll say, oh, I've never seen that before. Tell me how to do it. But unbeknownst to him, his memories are being formed. And this tells us something about amnesia, but it also tells us something about the rest of us, that there are two separate memory systems at least, one for explicit memory, one for implicit memory. And I'd be remiss if I didn't add that there are two movies, one of a terrible movie, 50 First Dates, and one an extraordinarily interesting movie, Memento. and we'll just talk about Memento here, where the distinction between explicit memory and implicit memory is absolutely central to the plot of the movie. And if you want to learn about memory and some extraordinary aspects of it, I could think of no better recommendation than seeing the movie Memento.